Hi everyone, welcome to English with a Twist, Wednesdays with English with a Twist. It is Wednesday the 9th of August. I hope we're going live. I can see my phone. Oh great, excellent. I've got one person coming in, second person, wonderful. Welcome to everyone. Hello, how is everyone? Not how are everyone. Oh dear, the English is already going bad. I hope you can see me. The connection might not be the strongest because we've got quite a lot of rain here, but let me know who's coming in live and let me know where you're from, and let's do the initial welcome. So hope you're all well and let me know where you're coming from. I want to know who's I've got something coming up on my screen. Let me just see. Wonderful. Oh, I get to see this now. It's on my smartphone. It gets me to see the live viewers, but I'm not too sure whether they tell me everything. But yes, say hi. How is everyone? Let me just go onto the Facebook page on my computer just to see where everyone is. So this is lesson 34 of Wednesdays with EWAT. Time is flying. We're doing pretty well here, guys. So I hope my regulars are coming into the class, and just just say hi. Just tell me that you're in, that you can hear me, that everything is going well. And let's go. So today, what are we talking about? So listen, first of all, let me remind you what English with a Twist is all about. English with a Twist is the place where you get to become successful, confident, competent business communicators with English. Okay, so when you're working with English, you need English to succeed and to finally feel equal to your English speaking colleagues. So that's what we're all about here, to see that. Right, great. I can see that Rosie is joined live. I wonder who else is going to come in, and I can see that. That's wonderful. Right, today's class, what are we going to be talking about? Well, we are going to be looking at phrasal verbs. Now, give me a thumbs up if you like phrasal verbs, if it's something that you find very frustrating when working with English, because in the English language, a lot of phrasal verbs are used metaphorically. So it isn't a literal sense, it is used as a metaphor. And quite often we use phrasal verbs instead of using a real, the alternative verb. So it can be very frustrating to a lot of English learners. So I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to pick 6 phrasal verbs with different meanings. So that just adds to the confusion, and it really drives everyone mad. So never mind, we're going to work on that. So as I see, I don't see anyone saying hello, and but I don't know whether it's because now I don't know what Facebook has done to the live videos, so I can't quite see if people are making comments. But if you are, do drop me a line. I can see comments here, but I can't see it on the phone. That's really bizarre. But thank you. So Ramon says it's always complicated to learn and to teach. Vito is saying, oh, hi Genevieve. Hi Vito. Hello from Italy. Do let me know. And I'm just looking at the comments here just to see who's coming in and watching. That's excellent. Great. Thanks so much. Hi Keiko. She's said hello. Hello Yeri from the Philippines. I always love to know where everyone else is around the world. I'm here in southeast London. At the moment it's pouring with rain and it's really cold, hence that's why I'm wearing a little cardigan, long sleeve t-shirt, and it's really pathetic actually. This is the summer we're having. Never mind, that's just how it is. So before I forget, I will remind you, if you haven't subscribed and joined the EWAT community, please do so. I would recommend you do, because first of all, you're going to get a free ebook from me on the 10 ways that you can become a more confident, competent business communicator. So there are 10 easy steps I show you how to do that. And then you get access directly into your inbox of my weekly audio blogs that come in on a Friday. And of course you have access to Wednesdays with EWAT and my business idiom video library. But just a point I want to say to all of you who have actually subscribed to EWAT, thank you ever so much. I did notice though a number of you hadn't confirmed your email addresses. Now it's pretty important for you to do that. So when you click to sign up and you put your email address, make sure you check your inbox after that, because you will receive an email from me to confirm your email address. If you don't confirm, you're not subscribed and therefore you haven't joined the EWAT community. So it's important that you do so, otherwise you are not going to receive any of the bonuses, the book or anything else. So just bear in mind, if you are going to subscribe, to make sure you check your inbox to confirm your email address. Okay, that's enough of housekeeping, as we would say in English. You know, at the beginning of meetings in English, we often say housekeeping rules, which is normally to tell people about where the loos are, where the toilets are, what time are the refreshments, where the fire exit is. So that's what we call housekeeping. Okay, so we are going to start lesson 34 today. Let me just double check here on the comments. I've got Newbridge, hello from Cordoba in Argentina. Elisa, hi Jeanette here from Philippines, although it says Elisa Villa, your Facebook page. John is saying hello. Claudia from a too hot Rimini. Oh, okay, send me some temperatures, please, some hot temperatures. Okay, let's do an exchange. We'll give you the cold, you give us some of the heat. Lovely. Okay, so I've got some if I can't see everyone's comments, please don't I'm not being rude, it's just I can't see everybody's comments. Right, we are talking today, as I said, phrasal verbs. So phrasal verbs, as I said to you before, a lot of phrasal verbs that we use in English are used metaphorically. So you have various phrasal verbs, and then there are some of them that have got different meanings. So can you imagine? That just complicates matters. In today's class, I'm going to take 6 phrasal verbs, and we're going to explore the different meanings that each phrasal verb has in English. And I'm going to look at it also in the context of business, of course. Now, what I decided to do with this lesson is I'm going to test something out. I'm going to set you some quizzes. So before we start the lesson, please make sure you've got a pen and pieces of paper, because you're going to be doing some work. This is not just all about me talking. You're going to be engaged in the lesson, and I'm going to test you so that you can get a feeling of whether you know how to use these phrasal verbs in the context of a sentence. Okay, so shall we start? Are we all ready? Can I have a thumbs up? Everyone got pen and paper next to them? Because this is going to be like a mini quiz. I'm going to have questions and answers. So imagine you're in a quiz, pub quiz, and I'm going to ask you questions. And so there'll be A to B, and you'll have to answer. Okay, everyone good to go? Can you tell me? I'll check in the inbox, or otherwise if people can give me a thumbs up. I'm not seeing thumbs ups here on my screen, but that's because probably Facebook have changed things. They're constantly changing things. Okay, now don't worry, I'm going to go slowly. So if we don't cover all 6 phrasal verbs today, do not worry. We'll cover what we can, and I might then take it on to the next class next week. All right? So the first phrasal verb we're going to look at today is work out. So I'm going to write this down in the chat box. Work out. Okay, everyone help? Okay with that? So I'm going to actually test you straight away on this. Now with workout, and just bear with me because I've got my iPad here too, I'm sort of multi-devices today. There are 6 uses we have of the phrasal verb work out, to work out. Okay, so I'm going to give you 6 definitions, so 6 meanings of this one phrasal verb. And I'd like you to write it down. So pen and paper, are you paying attention? Listening? Wonderful. Let's go. A. So work out, we've got 6. A to F. A. To solve a problem by considering the facts. So A, I'm going to repeat that. So A is to solve a problem by considering the facts. So write that down. B, to solve a problem by doing a calculation. So B is to solve a problem by doing a calculation. C, to exercise. D, to be successful. E, to decide or agree on something. And finally, F, used for saying what the actual cost or value is when you calculate it. So let me repeat that one. F is, it is used for saying what the actual cost or value is when you calculate it. Okay, is everyone okay? So let's redo this. A is to solve a problem by considering the facts. B, to solve a problem by doing a calculation. C, to exercise. D, to be successful. E, to decide or agree on something. F, used for saying what the actual cost or value is when you calculate it. Now this is for the phrasal verb work out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you now some example sentences, and you have to decide which definition it refers to. A, B, C, D, E, or F. Okay, so I'm going to give you 6 different sentences, and you have to decide whether the phrasal verb work out in that sentence means A, to solve a problem, B, to solve a problem by calculation, C, to exercise and things. Is everyone okay with that? Can you give me a thumbs up? And I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat box. Are you okay? Is that clear? You understand, Vito? Great, excellent. I'm just checking to see if I can get more thumbs ups. Hopefully I'm going to get that. Okay, so let's start with the first sentence of to work out. And you're going to decide whether it's A, B, C, D, E, or F. All right, now, first sentence is, we have worked out when to start our course. I'll repeat that. We have worked out when to start our course. So is it A, to solve a problem by considering the facts, B, to solve a problem by doing a calculation, C, to exercise, D, to be successful, E, to decide or agree on something, F, used for saying what the actual cost or value is when you calculate it. So, we have worked out when to start our course. Okay? Second sentence. I was born in 1956. You work out my age. I was born in 1956. You work out my age. sentence. I am sure that everything will work out in the end. I am sure that everything will work out in the end. Third sentence. I can't work out what to do with this situation. I can't work out what to do with this situation. I can't work out what to do with this situation. Fifth sentence. I love working out in the mornings. I love working out in the mornings. So I love working out in the mornings. Sentence 6. Taking the Eurostar works out more expensive than traveling with EasyJet. Taking the Eurostar works out more expensive than traveling with EasyJet. So the last sentence is taking the Eurostar works out more expensive than traveling with EasyJet. So let's have a look at the answers. Hopefully you had time to write things down and analyze. So the first sentence was, we have worked out when to start our course. And let me see, some of you said, so is it A, to solve a problem by considering the facts, B, to solve a problem by doing a calculation, C, to exercise, D, to be successful, E, to decide or agree on something, or F, used for saying what the actual cost or value is when you calculate it. So we have worked out when to start our course. So in other words, that you have decided when to start your course. So that means that the answer is E, that you have decided. We have worked out when to do this. Yeah, we've worked it out. Yeah, we've done it. We've worked out. Okay, great. So I think a number of people got that right, and if you did, well done. I know some of you here, Genevieve, you got that right, so great. I think a number of people did. My comment is going through a bit too fast, so I can't see that. But if you got E, great. So we have worked out when to start our course. We have decided when to start. I was born in 1956. You work out my age. So what are we doing here? You are 1956, so what are you asking me to do? You're asking me to solve the problem by calculating. You want me to calculate what your age was. So the answer is B. I was born in 1956, so you work out my age. You calculate that for me. Can you work out the bill for me? Can you work out how much we owe you? So in a restaurant, and you all go together, and then the bill comes. Can you work out how much we all owe you? So can you solve that problem by calculating? Okay, I am sure that everything will work out in the end. I'm sure that everything will work out in the end. So I'm sure that everything will be successful, will succeed, will be okay. So the answer is D, to be successful. I'm sure everything will work out. Don't you worry. Yeah, it will be okay. I can't work out what to do with this situation. So I can't work out what to do with this situation. I just don't know what to do. I just can't work out what to do. So you can't solve the problem. You know, even you've got the facts, you've got it there, but you just can't work out what to do. I really don't know what to do. So the answer is A. So you can't work out a problem. You can't work it out. And we're not talking about calculations. We're talking about solving a problem. So I can't work out what to do. Or I can't work out what the problem is with that person. Yeah? So you just can't solve it. I love working out in the mornings. I love working out. I love exercising in the mornings. So do you like to work out? Then we have use it also as a noun. We have a workout in the mornings. So I love working out. That's so great. So the answer is C, to exercise. And finally, taking the Eurostar works out more expensive than traveling with EasyJet. So we often use it when we're calculating the cost or a value of something. Yeah, so you're trying to decide whether it's better to buy the software program with this added to it, or whether to just go for the minimum package. And you think, well, if you put it all together, it works out cheaper buying it that way than if you buy it this way. So we use that phrasal verb, it works out cheaper. And so that we have it. So one phrasal verb with 6 different meanings. Was everyone okay with that? Did you get that? Was that helpful? And if you got all your answers correct, then well done, you guys. Really well. Very good. Because workout is not that easy to work out. Okay, forget it. That's a bit too complex. Okay, all of you who got it, brilliant. Well done. Okay, now we are going to look at phrasal verb number 2. And phrasal verb number 2 is turn down. I'm going to write it down in the comments box here. So we've got the phrasal verb to turn down. You'll be pleased to know that with this phrasal verb, we have 3 different meanings. So we've got 3 different meanings for the phrasal verb turn down. Okay, so let's have a look. The 3 different definitions are refuse, to refuse, A, to refuse, B, to reduce, and it could be the volume, the heat, the tension, and finally decrease. And you might say to me, but Shanti, what's the difference between reduce and decrease? Decrease in this sense means to make it smaller. It becomes less in size, fewer in numbers. So it becomes smaller or less in size. So it's not reducing, but I'll show you the example. So we have to refuse, A, to reduce, B, and decrease, C. Is everyone okay with that? A, B, C. So refuse, reduce, decrease. Okay, now we're going to look at some examples, sentences. We need to turn things down here. We need to turn things down. When the market turns down, recruitment is one of the first areas companies look to make savings. So think about that in economics. So when the market turns down, recruitment is one of the areas companies look to make savings. She turned down the opportunity to work in Paris. She turned down the opportunity to work in Paris. turn down the TV, please? Can you turn down the TV, please? Okay, so let me repeat the 4 sentences. We need to turn things down around here. When the market turns down, recruitment is one of the first areas companies look at making savings. She turned down the opportunity to work in Paris. Can you turn down the TV, please? How's everyone done? How was that? So 3 meanings for this phrasal verb turn down. Refuse, reduce, decrease. So let's have a look at the first sentence. We need to turn things down around here. So what are we talking about? Imagine you're in a meeting and there's a lot of tension and maybe people are getting angry and there's a lot of frustration and anger. And maybe the chairperson or the boss or whoever is running the meeting suddenly decides to say, we need to turn things down around here. We need to reduce this tension. We need to reduce whatever negativity, bad feeling there is. So we need to turn things down. It is used often more in spoken language. Yeah, we don't say it, we won't put it in writing. But yes, we often do that. So the answer would be B, to reduce. We're looking to reduce the tension, reduce the negativity. We need to turn things down. The second sentence, when the market turns down, recruitment is one of the first areas companies look at to make savings. So what are we talking about here? When the market turns down. So we're talking about when the market decreases, when it goes smaller, it becomes smaller in size. Market grows, market falls, but they also shrink. So when the market turns down, goes smaller, decreases, then recruitment is one of the areas companies will cut. They stop looking for people. Yeah, so in this case, the answer is C, decrease. So when we talk about reduce, we can reduce something. So it's used as a transitive verb. You reduce the volume, you reduce the tension, you reduce negativity. But decrease, often we can use it also as an intransitive verb, which means that it doesn't take an object. The markets decreased. Yes, our sales decreased. It doesn't need an object in the sentence. And so in this case, we're talking about where it's becoming smaller. So when markets turn down, this is what happens. The third sentence is, she turned down the opportunity to work in Paris. In other words, she refused the opportunity. What else do we turn down? We can turn down a job offer. We can turn down a dinner offer. So it's refusing something. So the answer here is A. So she turned down the opportunity to work in Paris. She turned down the opportunity of a lifetime. She refused it. So answer is A. And finally, I snuck in an extra sentence here. Can you turn down the television, please? Can you turn down the TV, please? What are we asking you to do? We're asking you to reduce the volume. Can you turn down the television? Can you turn it down? What is the opposite of turning down the volume? You turn it up. So the other phrasal verb with up is the opposite. So you turn up the volume, you turn down the volume. Yeah? So everyone okay? How did everyone go with that? All right? Was that okay? Good. So in this case, this phrasal verb turn down has 3 different meanings. Not too bad, I don't think. Okay, now we're going to phrasal verb 3. I hope everyone's still okay, still with me. Please thumbs up, tell me if everyone's okay. Right, let's look now at the third phrasal verb. And this one, I'm afraid, does have 5 different meanings. And it's break down. So let me write this down again for you. Break down. The phrasal verb is break down. And this often gets confused with a lot of my clients, I've noticed. So let's look at this because it is worth looking because of the different meanings. We have 5 different meanings. So let's explore what they are. First of all, now the first meaning of breakdown is to stop working. Stop working. When I mean stop working, I mean stop functioning. Not stop working as in your job. Something that stops working. B, separate into sections. So separate into sections. B. C, it refers to relationships or discussions. Okay, so we use that phrasal verb to talk about relationships or discussions. D, to become upset, especially in public. What do I mean by upset? Imagine you have got bad news, someone gives you bad news, suddenly, how would you feel? You become upset. You're shocked, and from being happy, you become sad. So you become upset. E, you make a door or a wall fall. So the door behind me falls, or worst case, a wall. Hopefully not, but let's imagine a door instead. So let's recap on those 5 different meanings. A, we're looking at stop working, stop functioning. B, separate into sections. C, refers to relationships or discussions. D, to become upset, sad, especially in public. And finally, E, to make a door fall or a wall fall. That's what the dictionary said. All right, so we've got the 5 meanings. So let's look at this. Gabriella, you're doing very well. Okay, so let's have a look, and I'm going to give you now the sentences and see how you do. So A, B, C, D, E. The economic talks in Beijing broke down after 2 days. The economic talks in Beijing broke down after 2 days. The police had to break down the door to enter the flat. The police had to break down the door to enter the flat. The best way to manage this project is to break it down into manageable pieces. The best way to manage this project is to break it down into manageable pieces. The photocopier has broken down again. The photocopier has broken down again. People broke down and cried when they heard the news. People broke down and cried when they heard the news. So, how did you do? So, we're looking at this. So, let's recap now. Everyone okay? Let's look at this. So, first sentence was, the economic talks in Beijing broke down after 2 days. So what are we talking about? The talks. When we refer to talks, the economic talks, they are what? They are discussions. So they broke down after 2 days. What do we mean? They stopped. They just ended. So they broke down. Success, failure. What do you think that is? Failure. So if the talks break down, or there's been a breakdown in communication, in negotiations, means they broke down. There is a break. There is a failure. Yeah? So the talks broke down. So the answer is C. It refers to a discussion. When we talk about a relationship for C, you would say that the relationship between the two sides has broken down. Yeah, so it's broken down. That's it. It's going to be very difficult to continue. And so that's what we mean. So the answer there is C. So the economic talks in Beijing broke down after 2 days. The police had to break down the door to enter the flat. So this is quite easy, isn't it? If you imagine, if they're trying to get into the house, into a property or a house or an apartment, then they broke down the door. They broke it, made it fall. So the answer, of course, is E, to make a door or a wall fall. So they broke down the door, okay? Because they break the door and the door falls down. That's what we mean. So the answer there is E. Next sentence is, the best way to manage this project is to break it down into manageable pieces. So imagine you've got this big project and it seems so overwhelming to you because you think, how am I going to complete this project within the time frame that they've given me? What am I going to do? It is just too much. So the best thing is to break it down into manageable pieces. In other words, it is to separate them into little sections. So if you break a task down, or if you break something down into easier pieces, then it's easier to deal with. So that's what we talk about. It's not literal, it's metaphorical. Imagine you got this big project, you're going to break it down into manageable pieces and then deal with each section or piece. So the answer to that question is B, to separate into sections. So if you break this down, you'll notice, so perhaps you've got to look at figures or something that's really complex, and it's a really complicated document, or it's a complex problem. Well, if you break it down, then it's easier to look at and to investigate. So that's what we mean by breakdown. The photocopier has broken down again. Oh, when is the engineer coming next? So the photocopier has stopped working. So it stopped working. What else can break down? Our car breaks down. A washing machine breaks down. Normally we're talking about a machine that has a motor in it that breaks down. Your computer can break down. Has it broken down? My computer's broken. No, normally we'd say my computer has stopped working. But we talk about machines like a photocopier has broken down, my car has broken down, my washing machine has broken down, so it has stopped working. So the answer there is A. So the photocopier machine has stopped working. Finally, people broke down and cried when they heard the news. That's answer is D. So they became upset and started crying. So when someone breaks down, they normally were talking about someone who becomes sad and starts crying. She broke down. Maybe it's not breaking down and crying, but it's visibly showing emotion. Maybe, you know, for example, you're in a meeting with client or you're meeting with your colleagues, and maybe someone's been under a lot of stress and it's just too much for them, and suddenly they break down. Maybe they explode in rage, or they just get really upset about, maybe you ask them to do something and they'll go, I just can't do it, I really can't, this is just too much. And you think, oh my goodness, they just broke down. Because they just change behavior. Suddenly they become really sad, and some people cry, some people don't, but that's it. But often when we talk about breaking down, we're talking about emotion, we're talking about crying. Okay, great. How's everyone doing? I'm looking at people putting in their comments. Really good. You're all interacting. Rosanna, you just asked me if it's the same as freak out, to freak out. Now, freak out, very good question, Rosanna. Freak out is slang, for starters. You know, they just freaked out. It is slang, and it is, you wouldn't normally use it as in a neutral sense. Someone can break down generally, but freak out, you'd imagine them, I suppose it's an American slang, is, oh, she just freaked out. I mean, oh, what was that all about? But you do that where they're really maybe exaggerated with their emotion or started screaming, and then they, whoa, stop freaking out. But if you break down, it could be even quietly. Maybe you're doing something, maybe you've been under a lot of stress, and maybe you're doing a job and suddenly someone just drops their head and starts crying. And you think, oh my gosh, she just broke down into tears, or he just broke down. You know, just, oh, you know, I just can't cope, I just can't do it. And that could be breaking down. So it's not freak out. The freaking out is really exaggerating that emotion. A breakdown doesn't necessarily mean that. And normally when you say they broke down, it is often a very serious situation that you think, oh wow. Yeah, I hope you can tell the difference. So depending on the context, I wouldn't say, oh, she freaked out or he freaked out, because I'd imagine that it was an exaggerated reaction to something. But if you break down, it is an extreme reaction, but it's not exaggerated necessarily, if you see what I mean. Frustrated, Kamal, it's interesting, it's frustrated. You can be frustrated, and that could make you break down into tears. Yeah, that feeling of frustration, and then you just can't cope, and then you break down and start crying. Often breaking down is to do with emotions and showing your emotions visibly on your face. Frustration can just be internal also. Okay, so there you have it. Now, where are we? How are we doing? We've got 3 phrasal verbs, and what is the time? You see, I told you we'll probably not be able to do all the phrasal verbs. That's why I decided I think I'd only do a few. So let's look at phrasal verb 4. Phrasal verb 4. Can't get my mouth in. Oh, Rosie, sorry, just you're saying freak out, very surprised. No, freak out actually is much more exaggerated. Ah! You know, and just like freak out. Oh my gosh, jeez. Honestly, really? Did you have to react like that? So it's, you know, wow. You've completely, we would say another slang way is you've lost all all control of your emotions. Well, as breakdown, you can break down, but it might not necessarily be a complete loss of control. It's a difficult one, but maybe next time we'll discuss emotions, especially in the workplace. Okay, phrasal verb number 4, but thank you very much for your questions, very interesting. Okay, phrasal verb number 4 is turn up. Remember I mentioned turn down? Now we're looking at turn up. Now with the phrasal verb turn up, let me put that in the comments, is turn up. We have 4 different meanings. I know, folks, this is a nightmare, but hey, you're doing really well. So let's look. The easy peasy definition is to turn up the volume, to increase the volume. Yeah, so increase the power, increase the volume. Yeah, so I need to turn up, increase. So that's A. B is arrive, to arrive, often unexpectedly or with no prior arrangement. Yeah, so you haven't arranged it, you haven't organized it. You arrive without organizing it. Or you arrive unexpectedly. C, to find something by accident. Okay, you find something, you find by accident. And D is to happen unexpectedly. To happen unexpectedly. So let me repeat the 4 different meanings for turn up. 1 is to increase volume, power. 2 is to arrive often unexpectedly or with no organization before, so no prior arrangement. So you arrive unannounced. C is to find something by accident. And D is to happen unexpectedly. Unexpectedly. So, turn up. That's the phrasal verb. So let's have a look. I have got 5 sentences for you. Let's work this one out. Okay, first sentence. Don't worry. Another job offer will turn up when you least expect it. Don't worry. Another job offer will turn up when you least expect it. 2. It's so hot in here. Could you please turn up the air conditioning? It's so hot in here. Could you please turn up the air conditioning? You don't have to make a reservation. You can just turn up. You don't have to make a reservation. You can just turn up. Hey, look what just turned up. I've been looking for these documents everywhere. Hey, look what just turned up. I've been looking for these documents everywhere. I don't know who she thinks she is, but she can't simply turn up at the meeting unannounced. I don't know who she thinks she is, but she can't simply turn up at the meeting unannounced. Okay, let's look at the sentences again. Don't worry, another job offer will turn up when you least expect it. So what do I mean? Another job offer will turn up. Will turn up what? Will happen unexpectedly? It'll turn up. Something will turn up. Something will happen unexpectedly. So don't worry. So turn up in this context means to happen unexpectedly. So the answer to the first sentence is D. So don't worry, something will turn up. Oh, I'm really sorry you lost that order. Oh, don't worry. Another order will turn up. Who knows, whenever. It'll happen. It's so hot in here. Could you please turn up the air conditioning? Yeah, do we need to increase the power on that air conditioning? Or in my case, maybe you need to turn the heating up. Okay, so the answer to that is A. You're increasing the power. Yeah, can you turn up the air conditioning? Can you turn up the heating? You don't have to make a reservation. You can just turn up. You don't have to make a reservation. You can just turn up. Oh, fantastic. So I can just arrive without telling you before. So I can just arrive without prior arrangement. So the answer is B. You can just arrive without prior arrangement. You can just turn up. Don't worry. Oh, do I have to book the restaurant? Oh, no, madam, it's fine. You can just turn up. No need to book. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Hey, look what just turned up. I've been looking for these documents everywhere. Look at what I found by accident. Look what just turned up. I just found them by accident. I wasn't necessarily looking at that moment, but I had been looking for them before. Okay, you know what? I can't find my keys. I really can't find my keys. Where are my keys? Or do you know what? When you're least expecting it, they'll turn up. When you're not looking for them, they'll turn up. You'll suddenly find them. They'll just turn up. I know, so weird. What's that all about? That's so weird. So turn up, to suddenly find by accident. Yeah, wow, okay. I don't know who she thinks she is, but she can't simply turn up at the meeting unannounced. So, I don't know who she thinks she is, but she can't just arrive, turn up, arrive at the meeting unannounced. So don't turn up just like that. You need to tell me. Hey, look just who turned up at our driveway. Who? Those friends that we saw. Oh, wow, what a lovely surprise. That's wonderful. So they arrive suddenly. Who just turned up. So they arrive often unexpectedly. So what's your answer? B. Oh, I don't think I told you what the answer was for the fourth sentence, which was, of course, C. What just turned up? So to find C. And I don't know what, and the last one is B. So to arrive unexpectedly. So how did everyone do with that? Was that okay? So, Ravi's just asking, what is the difference between until and up to? Okay. That will be for another lesson, Ravi. If I may, I'll write that down and we'll cover that maybe when I do a Q&A, a question and answers type lesson. So guys, I think that's very good. That was excellent. Now we've done 4 phrasal verbs, and if you'd like to, let me know. We could do part 2 of this next week, and I'll add a few more phrasal verbs, so that takes us to 8 in total. So today we've done 4, we need 2 more, and then if I add another 2, we'll have had 8 phrasal verbs. Now the phrasal verbs that I haven't covered today are take off and bring up. Now take off has another 6 meanings, so that's why I'm saying this will take us over our scheduled time, so I don't think we should do that. And bring up has got 2 meanings. So I think I'll deal with that next week. How does everyone, the idea of doing part 2 of phrasal verbs with different meanings, does that make everyone happy? Does that please everyone? Does that agree with people? Is everyone happy with that? You fancy doing part 2? Please put your thumbs up in the comments box. Let me know what you think. Good idea? If I don't hear from you, I'll take it is a fantastic idea, and then I will do it for next week. And I'll just add a few more, 2 more phrasal verbs, so we can look at the differences. So I hope that that gave you a flavor of how these different phrasal verbs have different meanings. And so thank you, Gabriela. So you think that's a great idea to do part 2 of this this lesson? Great. We will expand it. And if you like this sort of the session, which was this sort of format of doing question and answers, that'd be great. Genevieve, sounds great for part 2. Good. I'm glad. I think it's a great, because we use phrasal verbs so often as metaphors, you need a lot of practice. And for those of you who were involved with it, well done. And if you got the answers, perfect. You are really good. And we can always look to practice some more. But for those of you who got involved, fantastic. And what I will probably do, I'll think about this, is put this all together in a document, and so then it will be available for my subscribers. I'm afraid you'll all have to subscribe to the EWAT community, join the EWAT community before I release this sort of information, because then you'll have it all in a nice resource library, so it's put there for you to dip into. I'm looking to build a new membership and resource library, which I will be talking to you more about in the next few weeks and months. So this is what I'm collating for all of you. Thank you so much. Anyway, in the meantime, thank you so much to all of you, Genevieve, Rosanna, Gabriela, Fahad, everyone who joined. I think if I've missed people out, I'm so sorry, Rosie. Everyone who joined, thank you so much. I think Denise was there, Sophie was there, various other people. And because I can't scroll on my comments box at the moment, I can't see everyone. But thank you so much for joining. Well done, all of you who got actively involved in the questions and the quiz. This was really great. And I look forward to seeing you next week for lesson 35, which will be part 2 of the series, the phrasal verbs series. Phrasal verbs with many meanings. And don't forget, again, as I said to you before, join the EWAT community. The sign up details will be on the page. And don't forget also to check your inbox once you've done that to confirm your email address. Otherwise, it's as if you haven't subscribed, you haven't joined the EWAT community. So come on, guys, the community is growing, because what I'm planning to do is develop a lot more goodies for my subscribers and my community of EWATers. So my fellow EWATers, thank you so much for joining me on this very cold, windy, wet Wednesday in London. This is Shanti Kumaraswamy Street of English with a Twist, also known as EWAT, saying ciao for now. See you next week, Wednesday oh my word, it's going to be Wednesday the 16th of August. Hey, my father's birthday. And we'll be talking more about those phrasal verbs. Take care. Ciao for now.